Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on the Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good evening and welcome to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. It's my pleasure to interview a whole bunch of different people, and tonight is no exception. I've got Shafqat Ali, who is a community activist, a political activist, someone that I've known for a bunch of years. And I want to talk to him about politics and a bunch of the different political issues, both provincially and federally, that are going on right now. But I also want to talk about the nomination process, because I've been involved in politics for numerous years in Mississauga and a bunch of other places across Canada. And one of the concerns I have is that the nomination process is one of the failures of our system. And so I want to chat with Shafqat about that. Shafqat, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Thank you, Brian, for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us. So you've been involved in Liberal politics for a long time.
Long time. I think it's the first rally I attended for John Creechon's midterm election in 97.
1997.
I came in 96 and 97. That was the first rally I attended. But practically I got involved in 2002 with the federal and provincial nominations, and since then.
And whereabouts, here in Mississauga or in Toronto?
Yeah, it's Mississauga.
Yeah?
Yeah, Mississauga.
And which campaigns were those?
Provincially, I started with, there was, in Mississauga Centre, there was a candidate, MPP at the time. His nomination, I started with him provincially. And federally, Caroline Parrish and Steve Mahoney's nominations. They both were sitting MPs and they were running from Erindale.
Oh, because there was redistribution or something, and the two MPs had to fight against each other. That was one of the largest nomination fights of all time.
It was most famous and largest, and it's a very tense nomination. We had in Mississauga.
Who won?
Caroline Parrish. She won.
And then did she win the election?
Yes, she did win the election.
But then something happened, and she ended up leaving federal politics.
Actually, she was, how she was very outspoken, and when Bush went into Iraq without UN resolution, so she was pretty outspoken against his policies. And I think she stomped on his doll in media or somewhere. And that's how she was kicked out from the party.
She was kicked out of the caucus?
Yeah.
And then did she run again, or did she not run again?
No.
So she didn't run as an independent?
And then follow-up election, Umar Al-Gabra, actually he won the nomination, and he became MP at the
And then
time.
when did you run for the nomination first?
Initially I ran for school board trustee in 2006. I finished at second. But the nomination I was running in 2013, 14, in federal, from Erin Mills.
Yep.
But then the party wanted a female, and then one of my friends who was a minister, they came to me and they said, they need a favor. So we have that MP, so I ended up endorsing her.
Right. And she went on to win twice.
Yes.
And have you stayed involved in her campaines?
I did.
Yeah,
I pretty much, even in last campaign, I was canvassing for.
So that's sort of like affirmative action or quotas. Do you think that's fair?
It's honestly, now I feel it's not fair.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you don't give an equal opportunity, we talk about equality, equal opportunity, fairness. And that's what we get involved as a political worker, to make a difference in our society,
right? To
have equal opportunity to everyone. So, when we talk about equal opportunity, then we leave the power to the voters, or the party members,
right?
So 2 or 4 or 10 people going into polls, and whoever gets most vote
wins.
Gets elected.
Yeah. The problem with the nomination process, though, and I think one of the reasons why the parties have to get involved, is that too often a small group can end up taking control of a riding association, can end up taking control of a party membership, and even with 1,000 people or maybe 1,500 people can decide who the victor is, and it's very difficult to combat that, is it not?
But here it's people, they are all Canadian. If they want to be part of it,
they can.
I think that should not be an issue. You have a group who's not active, and there's a group who's active, who's making a difference. So it should be left to the people to decide.
And then I understand this has happened to you again, that you were going to run in Mississauga Centre. Is that correct?
Yes, the last provincial election, I was greenlit. I was told that it will be fair nomination, open nomination. But in April, I think it's that the candidate was appointed by the leader. And this time we had change in leadership. And I was told that it will be fair and open a chance in Mississauga Centre. There would not be preference and there would not be appointment. But unfortunately, that I was told that that riding has been designated for the female candidate again. So they gave me other option, but the difference from last time and this time was, last time they told me at the end, as an appointment.
Right.
This one, as soon as I requested the vetting paper, so I was told that this is for female, so I should consider other riding.
Right.
They gave me option, but you know what? I worked in that riding for 20 years, so I didn't feel going.
That you should go. You should have to go somewhere else.
I said, you know what?
And is the candidate a credible candidate?
I think it's the same candidate is being imposed again, who lost 2 elections and could not win the nomination, obviously.
Bobby Day.
I would not name, so it's just the same candidate.
Oh, okay.
That's what the information I have.
Right, right. So I've long been a believer that the nomination process is broken. Now, one of the things that I understand Stephen Del Duca and the Ontario Liberal Party has changed is there's no longer membership fees for nominations. Is that correct?
There's no membership fee. I think that is something they have done a good job in that.
Because one of the criticisms in the past has been that people might not have paid for their own membership fees, which I thought was atrocious.
I agree with that, and I think they have done a great job making their membership free. But I think they are not getting that full benefit of it.
Why?
Because if you have a certain preferences in the riding, that you have this candidate and other people are told that you should not run from here, so you're not giving open opportunity. So let's say if one riding has 5 candidates, and you tell them go and do membership and you will have a fair chance.
Yeah.
So those 5 people will go, they might do 5,000 membership. So party is getting 5,000 database so they can communicate with the members.
No question.
But in this case, because of these restrictions, those people are not going out and doing the membership. So membership base would not be increased. So I don't see that benefit of doing that free membership.
Yeah. Well, I lived and worked in the United States for a couple of years, 5 years in fact, and was involved in a couple of different nomination campaigns there, once in Boston, Massachusetts, and another time in Los Angeles, California. And there, as you undoubtedly know, they go through a primary system, and I'm convinced the primary system is a far better process. Just to lay it out, the way the primary system works is that it's put on by the state, so that the government actually runs the primary system. And the way that you vote is you just register that you're a voter. You declare whether you're a Democrat or Republican, so you have to declare what you are. And in most states, even if you're an independent, you can still vote in either the Democrat or the Republican primary process. They're in numerous different polling stations rather than one basement in one place. So one of my challenges in Canada, our system typically has one polling space in the riding, and the ridings can be massive.
It is.
And we have unbelievable lineups. I have been at some nomination meetings where there's a half-hour, if not 3-hour lineups around the block to get in, and it's a long drive away, and then different candidates will bus people in from different places, etc. So it ends up being just a travesty of democracy, I think. The system in the United States is you'll have polling stations in different neighborhoods across a riding, and if you're either a registered Democrat or a Republican or an independent, when they allow independents, and you don't have to vote, you don't have to take out a membership, you get to go and vote. And anyone can run in those nomination processes. You don't have to go through this process. And if someone is supported by the establishment can say, we endorse this person, which is a benefit. And you've seen this in the United States, where Trump will support someone, but that person may win sometimes or may not win sometimes.
Yes.
But in the end, it's democracy. and the people decide.
Yeah.
And you can't get controlled by an ethnic group or a religious group or a group that have just taken control of the riding association or a group that have bussed people in from across town, and you get far better participation.
But unfortunately, we have a different political system. They have different. So
We should change to a primary system.
Yes.
Anyway, we're going to take a break and come back,
Sure.
and I'm going to ask Shafqat about some of his policies. Stay with us.
Here's to the people, pioneers searching for better, ambitious fortune seekers in strange new places. They're the inspiration behind Zoom, the fast and secure money transfer app from PayPal.
GTA Real Estate Investments. Pre-construction or resale. Consult trusted realtors. Get first access and incentives. Contact Khalid Aziz or Mashood Khalid, 647-865-2949.
Are you looking for a different type of realtor? Meet Sohail Khan, broker owner of Century 21 Innovative Realty Inc. You don't need to know a lot about real estate, but you do need to know Sohail Khan, who knows a whole lot about real estate. He knows contracts, negotiations, research, he knows the market, and he really knows the area. When it comes to real estate buying or selling, Sohail Khan is a know-it-all. Get to know Sohail Khan. 416-822-0305 or at sohailkhan.ca. Experience excellence.
वाजिद मलिक पेश करते हैं एक और शानदार प्रोजेक्ट इन द हार्ट ऑफ टोरंटो, वेस्टर्न विलेज. Beautiful brand new homes with 2 bedrooms, 2 washrooms, minutes away from 401 York University and Yorkdale Mall. Exclusive brand new stainless steel home appliances included. Prices starting from only $719,900. Don't miss this wonderful opportunity. Call now 416-827-3333 or visit www.wajidmalik.com.
टीम फरहान मॉर्गेज सॉल्यूशंस आपकी खिदमत में पेश 15 साला तजर्बे के हामिल, आपकी जरूरियात और मर्जी के एन मुताबिक कारोबारी, रिहायशी, तामीराती और ज़रूरी मॉर्गेज सर्विसेज. हमारा कम तरीन मॉर्गेज रेट. Team Farhan.
At Team Farhan, we're here for all your mortgage needs.
Müşterilerimize iyi ve kaliteli hizmet vermeye özen gösteriyoruz.
ونوفر كل التسهيلات القروض المالية لكل أنواع القروض.
Here at Team Farhan, we have mortgage solutions designed for you.
Team Farhan को एक दफा खिदमत का ज़रूर मौका दीजिएगा. And this is my personal promise to you, you will not be disappointed.
At Team Farhan, we have a mortgage solution designed for you.
मज़ीद मालूमात के लिए 416-569-9294 या फिर विजिट कीजिए हमारी वेबसाइट www.teamfarhan.com.
Welcome to Soho's Fashion Studio, a wonderland of designer and bridal couture, where our in-house designers will design your dream dress and our fashion houses in Pakistan will create it. Find casual to luxury fabrics under one roof. Quality is our #1 priority. We are open Tuesday to Sunday, 12:30 to 7:30. Shipping internationally and within Canada is also available. Visit us at 2275 Britannia Road West, Mississauga, Unit 15. Or call us at 647-967-0351.
एयर विंग्स ट्रैवल एंड टूर्स नॉर्थ अमेरिका की सबसे बाएतमाद और फास्टेस्ट एयर ट्रैवल सर्विसेज. 25 साल का तजर्बा लिए लातादाद अफोर्डेबल ट्रैवल डील्स के साथ एक्सेलेंस इन कस्टमर सर्विसेज ऑन जस्ट 1 फोन कॉल. ये है एयर विंग्स ट्रैवल एंड टूर्स. फॉर बुकिंग कॉल नाउ 1855-247-9464 और 905-272-2300. एयर विंग्स ट्रैवल एंड टूर्स.
Consumer Choice Award recipients and GTA's top-ranked service provider, Dixie Electronics, authorized dealer of all major companies. Shop with a peace of mind, and low prices are always guaranteed.
I promise best customer service and lowest prices in GTA because we beat prices from all major stores and small stores. At Dixie Electronics, our motto is We sell quality and deliver confidence.
Dixie Electronics and Appliances, 5120 Dixie Road, Unit 11, Mississauga. Phone number 905-625-5900.
Life is precious, and health is the greatest gift. The best investment you can ever make is in your own health and life. Take steps now for your health and life concerns, which includes drug and dental insurance, travel insurance, critical illness, disability income insurance, and super visa insurance. We also provide life insurance, RESP, RRSP, and segregated funds.
To make the informed decision, contact Babar Chughtai, your health benefit advisor at 416-816-9210. It's 416-816-9210.
Was your family or business prepared for this financial crisis? Want to learn how I prepare my clients with the essential financial planning pyramid for any financial crisis come their way? Hello, this is Zahid Sayed from Arooj Financial. For your complimentary Zoom or Skype meeting, call my office at 905-624-0008 or visit aroojfinancial.com.
Buying or selling a residential or commercial property is one of the biggest financial decisions most people will make in their life. The real estate lawyers at Alam Law Chambers will guide you through the complete real estate laws to ensure your transaction completes on time and your dreams come true. Reliable and affordable. Alam Law.
If you are looking for a reliable, professional, and affordable travel agency in your town, then your search is over. Global Travel and Tours is your personal travel partner. Our dedicated staff at Mississauga, Jeddah, and Islamabad is always ready to make your trip hassle-free, memorable, and cost-effective. We will assist you with hotel reservations, the transportation, visa assistance, and travel insurance. We are the #1 pilgrimage specialist for Hajj, Umrah, as well as ziyarats to Iran and Iraq. Global Travel and Tours is a one-stop solution for your travel, immigration, and Forex needs. We are IATA approved agents and an authorized Umrah agent. To book your holiday or Umrah package, please give us a call right now at 1-877-275-3555. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on the Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. I come to you every Thursday evening on Canada One TV with interesting guests, and tonight I've got Shafqat Ali, who is a community activist and a political activist, a gentleman in Mississauga that I've known for, probably more than a decade and a half,
more than
I guess.
10 years, yes.
And it's interesting because we've been on the same sides at times and we've been on opposing sides at times. And I won't talk about which ones are which, but that's kind of interesting. And we've just talked about the nomination process, and I'm a firm believer that the nomination process in political parties in Canada is broken, and we need to replace it with something. And I pitched Shafqat on the primary system that the United States has, which I think is a far better system. But let's talk about some of your policies and what's going on from a political standpoint. So right now, the Conservatives are doing well provincially. The Liberals have come up from where they were during the last election, where they got decimated. And so it's more competitive now. But I think if an election were held today, it would either be a majority Conservative government or a strong minority Conservative government. So what do you think Stephen Duca's got to do in the next 2 years to win government?
I think they were, when we had the leadership convention, the polls were going pretty good for the Liberals.
Yeah, but that was before COVID-19. And I think a lot of people think Premier Ford's done a good job.
COVID hit, I mean, it went other way around, I believe. I think it's Doug Ford. He is realistically, he's way ahead. And today I was listening that statement of
Premier Ford?
No, that you know how the vaccination was supposed to come like in December, January, I think that they're talking about next year, June.
Now,
So 2021, June, if you have a vaccination breakthrough, so the whole 2021 is gone. So 2022, you have an election. So
what is it, October? No, it's June.
It's June.
June of 2022.
June. Yeah. So you don't have much of a time, and they have started nominations now. I understand they started the strategy, the appeal. They're dealing with the appeal first, and then, people will get settled down who are disappointed. So I think they have to do 120 nominations, and then they have to come up on certain policies. Like, I mean, this time that it's just talking about school opening, and some people will buy it, some won't. So I don't know how he will come up at the competitive level, or maybe from 7 to 37, or maybe 57. So I don't know. It's just it's a big question mark.
Yeah. Well, it's not about the local MPP, regrettably. I'd like to believe it was, and given how positive I think about you, I would have thought that you would have had an impact. But the local MPP can influence just a couple percentage points of the vote in the end. It's mostly up to the party, the leader, the brand of the party, the leader, and the policies that they have. And I think of all of those three, it's primarily the leader. And so people make a vote deciding primarily on Doug Ford versus Stephen Del Duca versus Andrea Horwath. And right now, Doug Ford's gone from someone who Justin Trudeau ran against in October of 2018 to someone who right now has got higher public standing than Justin Trudeau. So it's a fascinating turn of events, which is, I guess, is what politics is all about. But I come back to, if that's the case, he did an announcement today that I thought was quite good. How's Stephen Del Duca going to combat that? If you were his campaign manager or his advisor, what would you be telling Stephen Del Duca to do?
I think, to me, he had a very good opportunity still, even though I'm not getting a chance. I think to have the base with you, to have data or access to convey your message to your base, that is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Last time, we were really going down as a Liberal. Even then, we got 20% of the vote. And some of the riding we lost by very narrow margins.
Yeah, well, I think you lost to the NDP. You didn't lose to the Conservatives. What ended up happening is the NDP vote surged and took away votes from the Liberals, so that they ended up being in second or third place.
It's a major factor was change factor. People were angry. That has gone now. Now, if they be careful in the riding, where you might have that factor of 5% or 10% of the candidate factor, that will make a difference in an election.
Yeah. Okay. So let me challenge you on that.
Yes.
I think change. There was change, and the fact that Doug Ford was elected as leader so close to the election, Patrick Brown was usurped.
Yes.
Was clearly a benefit.
Yes.
But Kathleen Wynne's last budget and last year was perceived as extremely left-wing. That it was, a budget and a fiscal policy that some people were saying was even more left-wing than the NDP. Didn't you think that had an impact? And so therefore policies have an impact.
I think she was a victim of multiple things. But major was we had this power plant in Oakville.
Yep.
That cancellation. And privatization of hydro, that was another factor. And I think there was a bias against her as well, right from beginning.
Yep. Though she won a majority government the first time she ran.
She won a majority government, but right from beginning there was a bias against her. So it was multiple things. If you look in overall, she did a great job, to be very honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think she was a great premier, but I
at the
think
end
what
of the
happened
day,
is that I think that the Liberal Party ended up moving too far to the left, and the Liberal Party in the past has been a party of the center.
Exactly.
And
yes.
I think the budget and the fiscal policies, and I don't know this for a fact, but I've heard stories that even Charles Sousa, the Treasurer, the Minister of Finance, was against some of the spending and the deficits in the final budget.
Certain policy, I think when you manage through authoritarian regime, like if your minister doesn't have his saying, or you're not taking input from them, and the policies are being made of the people who were behind the stage. I think this would be outcome, because you need to get, because remember, McGuinty was bringing that faith-based school. No, it was like the same bill, education bill, health and physical. There was a resistance at the time, and members, MPPs went back, and he listened to them, he pushed it back. She was education minister at the time. So they
listened to the people.
Because the people
so
who
are you
were
saying that you
representing.
think Dalton McGuinty listened and Kathleen Wynne didn't?
That's what I think.
Really?
That's what I think. It was.
Okay, what about federal? So Justin Trudeau is down in the polls. He had a majority government, then won a minority government, and now is down from where he was because when he won the minority government because of primarily the we controversy, but maybe some other issues, but primarily the we controversy. The Conservatives are, re-strengthened with a new leader, and have got some testosterone in their veins, and the Bloc Québécois are saying they're going to vote against the speech from the throne. What do you think is going to happen?
See, we'll see tomorrow what's going to happen. The speech of throne is tomorrow, and I see early election, and I think it's because of.
Do you think we can have election during COVID-19?
In politics, anything can happen, because we didn't have nomination. It's not in provincial Liberal nomination. There was no policy or rule that you can have it online, but we're having online.
Yeah.
So I think it's a minority government. If opposition would not support any bill, so we're forced to go to polls.
So if you were advising Justin Trudeau, what would you say? What would you do now? Would you do an alliance with the NDP? Would you do an accord with the NDP? Would you put in place some left-wing policies the NDP are going to support to co-opt them and get their vote?
I think it's, if they're looking at they're getting another majority, they'll go into poll. They will not listen what I say. But realistically, for Canadian at this point, I don't think we can afford election.
You don't think we can afford election?
Yeah. Because it would not be fair. People are not used to an online election. There's a lot of Canadian, they might not have access. There's a whole majority of seniors, they're not used to this technology.
Yeah.
So they might be left out to giving
Well, and
their
you think about all the complaints that we're hearing about in the United States about mail-in voting. We've been mailing in votes for eons, and so I don't know why you can't trust mail-in votes. Okay, so you think that that we can't afford it, but you think that we're going to end up having an election anyway because...
I think so. That's a realistic approach, I guess.
And okay, so what do you think will happen if that happens?
I mean, they'll go into poll. Because they'll be looking at their.
Do you think the Liberals will win a minority, or Conservative minority?
I see if election to be held today. Federally, you have Liberal majority, and provincially, you have Conservative majority or minority. That's what I see, to be honest.
Well, I think if you had an election today, I can't see that the Liberals federally would do as well as they currently have, because their numbers are down from where they were in October of 2018. So unless something happens during the campaign, which is always possible, but mathematically, the weak controversy has got to have had some negative impact. And so if they have a weaker minority than they have now, and you think about what happened in the last election, there wasn't one Conservative elected in Mississauga or Brampton. In Peel, there was only one Conservative elected up in Dufferin, Caledon. And then they didn't win the Conservatives didn't win anyone in Halton. That can't happen. It only makes sense that the Conservatives would win some in Peel and some in Halton. And the new leader of the Conservative Party is from the 905. So he's got to be more. He's got to have more affinity with 905 people. He understands some of the issues that the prior leader. From a social conservative standpoint, were found difficult to people in the 905. So if Aaron O'Toole is able to win just a handful of seats in the 905, and a handful of seats around Montreal, and a handful of seats around Vancouver, that takes it from a minority Liberal to a minority or majority Conservative.
But I think it's he just got elected as a leader. I don't think they're ready.
Doug Ford just got elected as leader, and a month later he had an election and won a majority.
Their procedure of nomination was done.
Yep.
So he just got elected. They have, how many, whole Canada, they have to nominate their candidates. So it's just, they have, I think
so you
it's
don't think they could ready in time?
If you have election, in a couple of months, I don't think they'll be ready. They'll have to rush into.
I predict they vote for, they vote against the speech from the throne, or a non-confidence vote, or a fiscal update, or a budget. The Bloc Québécois, I think, will as well. I think the Greens, who knows, but they don't count in this because they're not enough. So therefore it comes down to the NDP. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see. And I don't think the NDP won election because they're underfunded, and they probably are the least prepared of any party for an election. And so that will end up being the card that Justin Trudeau's got to play.
I agree with you because, they have financial issues and they're not ready as well. I don't think they can afford election at this time. I mean, so that quick. So I think they might be siding with Justin Trudeau.
So what about Shafqat Ali? You have been one of the most involved Liberals in Mississauga in the last decade and a half.
20 plus years.
I've run into you at so many events, so many community events, so many political events, so many nomination fights. You've been involved federally, you've been involved provincially, you've been involved municipally. You must be frustrated, and you must at the same time just be desperate to get that kick at the can.
I think it's politics is kind of very kind of cold game that and if you have a passion, then you're ready for the setback. I don't have any lobby behind me. I'm not a financial giant that I can fund campaigns. I'm a worker. So from a worker level, I came up to this point that I can become a candidate. So you get setbacks. So I get it, but obviously, it's you get disappointed, you get frustrated. But I think it's I'm just gonna see that how it goes in the next election, and then we'll see.
Two people that we know, Mohammed Latif and
Latif, yes,
and Sharif El Sabawi,
yes,
had similar challenges,
yes,
in nomination processes, and they became conservatives, and were successful. Or one of them was successful. Would you ever change parties?
I don't know. Like at this point, it's just it's too early to say this because it just happened. I got involved in a Liberal based on my ideology, not based on that I'll be seeking nomination or I'll take any position. But once you see that unfairness, or you see your parties going against their own policies, you get disappointed. So I'm just, taking a pause, and let's see how it goes in the...
Well, I think you're a great guy, and I've been impressed with your commitment to the community and to the party over the years. And I hope that you get another kick at the can, and I hope that you don't lose faith. I do think the nomination process, and particularly the appointment process, is flawed, and so maybe we can fight together for a better nomination process. And if I were you, I would... find another riding and get the kick of the can, because it's a dream of yours, I know it, and it's probably a dream that you need to have a chance to come to fruition. I had a guy in earlier today that had a t-shirt on that said, "What will your legacy be?" So Shafqat, what will your legacy be?
I think, what happened last time when there was an appointment, there was an anger in the community, in the people, about that factor. I think that gives me a satisfaction, even though I didn't get a chance from the leadership. But people who I serve, who I work for, a voice, they have a faith in me. I think that gives me a satisfaction, and you can never gain that by appointment, because when you get an appointment, because you cannot win the nomination.
Yeah, no, if you lose a fair fight, you lose a fair fight.
So, those sentiments are still with me, and those are my assets.
Well,
and that gives me satisfaction. So,
Shafqat Ali, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Brian.
Shafqat Ali, a community activist, a political activist, a great guy on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Thank you so much for joining us.
एयर विंग्स ट्रैवल एंड टूर्स नॉर्थ अमेरिका की सबसे बाएतमाद और फास्टेस्ट एयर ट्रैवल सर्विसेज। 25 साल का तजर्बा लिए लातादाद अफोर्डेबल ट्रैवल डील्स के साथ एक्सीलेंस इन कस्टमर सर्विसेज ऑन जस्ट वन फोन कॉल। ये है एयर विंग्स ट्रैवल एंड टूर्स। फॉर बुकिंग कॉल नाउ 1855-247-9464 or 905-272-2300. Air Wings Travel and Tours.